All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're gonna talk about Ryan Garcia getting the George Kambosos fight next, according to his promoter, after he gets done with the next fight that he has, which is coming up shortly against Togao. Please forgive me if I'm killing his name, which looks like, man, we may not get what a lot of people want to see, which is a truly undisputed fight between Devin Haney and George Kambosos. Let's talk about that in this video. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. Again, welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk about one of the best, the deepest division in boxing. One of the deepest divisions in boxing, rather, the lightweight division, where we have a bunch of good fighters, bunch of belts being held by one guy, one belt being held by another guy, and a lot of confusion as to how all this stuff is going to sort itself out. But before I get into the meat of the video, please, again, let me thank you guys so much for continuing to support the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get and select all notifications so you'll know when we drop videos. Also, if you wager on sports, please look at the description down below. We have a business partnership, a betting partnership with busr.ag. And you can go to busr.ag/Fanon, and there's always promotions over there that you can take advantage of with the promotional code Fanon if wagering is your thing. So go on over there and do that. Now, also, so let's get into this. The lightweight division, whole lot of people want to know what's going on next with George Kambosos and who he's going to fight next as a multi-belt champion in the division. I'm going to say belt champion because I don't want to offend anybody. He's the WBA champion, WBA super champion. He is the IBF champion. He's the WBO champion, and he is the WBC franchise champion. All of which he got off of beating Teofimo Lopez in his last fight. So there's one other belt holder in that division, Devin Haney, who has the WBC belt, the same belt that all the other WBC champions have, with the exception of Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds. So there's always, going back and forth of whether George Kambosos or Teofimo Lopez before him was an undisputed champion. Going to leave all that stuff to the side for this particular video and just talk about what Oscar De La Hoya had to say, what I've heard some people say out of Dazn, which makes me believe, look, man, there's a lot of really great fights that we want to see. But when it includes fighters that are slick fighters who are not necessarily big punchers, but guys that can beat you and you'll have a very hard time catching up. So a lot of reasons people make up for not fighting those guys. And I think in this particular instance, Devin Haney is definitely in that circumstance. Prior to Vasily Lomachenko, recently Vasily Lomachenko was the guy that was in the lead to get the fight with George Kambosos. The promoter for George Kambosos, Lou DiBella, stated that they had been back and forth in negotiations with Dazn and had been back and forth in negotiations with Haney, and they made him offers. They they gave him counter offers, and the offers were ridiculous. So pretty much they were done and they were moving on. Now, however, with Vasily Lomachenko and the situation going on in his home country, where he is now in the armed services, it doesn't look like he's going to be available anytime soon for a fight. Much like his countryman, Alexander Usyk, is pretty much in the same situation, where he says that his 3-belt title defense against Anthony Joshua is going to be put on hold indefinitely because he's dealing with things that are a lot more important than a championship belt, right? So that took Vasily Lomachenko out of the equation, at least seemingly, for the George Kambosos fight. So you would think that means, okay, great, they're going to go to Devin Haney. But like I said, when you're a fighter in that circumstance, a lot of times you get passed over. And the way that Oscar De La Hoya is talking is that Devin Haney is going to get passed over for Ryan Garcia. First of all, we know that Lou DiBella was in negotiations and talking to Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions about having the fight with Ryan Garcia. We heard that from Robert Garcia, who Lou DiBella called on accident on the phone, and Robert Garcia listened very carefully, then spilled the beans on him. It was like, yeah, they're in negotiations with Ryan Garcia. Now you have Oscar De La Hoya saying that after this Togal fight for Ryan Garcia, that he's going to fight for Undisputed against George Kambosos. And after he gets done with that, then they want to get the fight with Gervonta Davis and fight the other champions. Now, here's the thing. What is right and what will happen in boxing are often two entirely different things. I mess around with Devin Haney fans a lot because, you guys are a little bit avid for my taste when it comes to certain aspects of this stuff. However, I do believe that Devin Haney is the guy that I would like to see that have that fight with George Kambosos, because he deserved the fight with Lomachenko. Lomachenko got elevated right out, and so Devin Haney never really had a chance to earn that WBC belt. So even if you to earn it in a way where it's universally respected, right? So even if you take Undisputed off the table, he deserves that fight with the guy that's the WBC franchise champion. So hopefully they can ball up that franchise championship and throw it away, right? At the same time, Devin Haney would be the undisputed champion, which I think is really great because the guy is a slick fighter. He's a very, very good fighter, doesn't have a particularly big punch, but having him have that position will lead to him being able to get big fights and not be continually ducked by guys in that weight class, right? Which I do believe has happened to date. Now, the problem is, though, that Ryan Garcia is being touted as the guy that is going to be the big money man, the big superstar in that division. And why is that? Because he's got a very big internet presence, a lot of Twitter followers, a lot of Instagram followers, right? So he has a big social media following. It has not, as of yet, turned over into a big following as far as people showing up to his fights. His justification for that is that, look, man, I've been in COVID. It's been COVID. So the times that I fought, there's been limited capacity. But if there's not limited capacity, I'm going to get a big crowd, right? And I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't have a reason to doubt it. He's a Mexican-American guy and they have a very big fan base, a lot of fans for Ryan Garcia to draw from. Oscar De La Hoya was in a similar circumstance. He had a lot of people, a lot of fans early on. Canelo's in a similar circumstance, kind of in that golden boy Mexican type of situation where there's a lot of people that are impressed by how he looks, and he's a good fighter. Ryan Garcia's a good fighter for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if they're saying, look, man, and I'm talking about Dazn, because both Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia fight for the same network, right? And that is on Dazn. So for Dazn, I would suspect that they would be trying to look for somebody that they think could fill a Canelo Alvarez type of situation and apply and really, really appeal to Hispanic boxing fans, because that's pretty much been, the way of the world for a while now, is that the Hispanic boxing fans and the core base of fans have done a lot of the dictating of what's been going on in those weight classes where there are Mexican fighters that are really, really good fighters. So, just from what I see, dude, I'm hoping that I'm wrong, and I hope Oscar De La Hoya is not, being accurate in this, that he's wrong. However, it doesn't look good for that Devin Haney George Kambosos fight. And honestly, ever since Lomachenko went through this stuff, George Kambosos has pretty much been quiet. Hasn't said anything to anybody about who he's going to fight next. And I think that that's pretty much on purpose, that they just put the dude on mute. And it's like, nah, don't talk to Devin Haney anymore. Don't go back and all of this stuff. Once we get this big fight settled, that's what we're going to do. And the two big money fighters in that division, well, the big money fighter isn't even interested in George Kambosos. At least his promoter is, and isn't doing a lot of talking about it, which is Gervonta Tank Davis, and then Ryan Garcia, who has the potential to be a big fighter. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.